Good afternoon for everybody here. I'm going to start this by just making some prefacing comments before we start our process of induction. The biggest thing about today is the fact that we have an opportunity to do it. As we all know that we were having induction last April, and then with the close down, we didn't have that opportunity. We had scheduled another opportunity 2 weeks ago, but at that time we were still in some flux with what we were going to do as far as the position. So Mr. Berman and I have agreed to serve as co-advisors for this year, and we look forward to working with the National Honor Society. As we do this process today, you'll notice that we have our students, our people that are in National Honor Society, and those that are to be inducted, and it's just a reference point there. In essence, when you were notified that you were to be in the National Honor Society, that automatically put you in. This is a ceremonial thing. I think as officers and I, we talked on a Zoom meeting. It's kind of like being the president. If somebody dies, it's automatic if you're in, but now we get the ceremony. We're trying to do some things here that this year are close to normal as possible, and we all know it's not normal. The reality is that we all are going distant learning on Monday, and we have preferred to be in person to person every day. We hope that at some point this all changes around. It gives us the opportunity to have students in there every day and back to our normal activities. But as we discussed this with our officers, we thought, well, if we have an opportunity to do this, if we can, we're going to do it in a formal way. We'll do it outside here. And with that opportunity with good weather is given that to us. Just a couple of comments about the process here. We do have a program there, but as we go through the induction, we have our sponsors, our presenters. They come here. Our person that is being inducted is going to come to this left side on the S while the presenter makes some comments. The table, there's a packet in there that has the National Honor Society certificate for the new inductees and also a pin for that new inductee. They also will get a flower, and if you are interested in a picture at the banner area at that time, there's an open area there. You're more than welcome to do that. Certainly after we're done here, you want to come down and take a picture. But we are practicing the same things that we're practicing in the school relative to social distance and masking as we should. So I'm going to leave this now to our president, Maya Hansen.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. National Honor Society is built on 4 pillars: scholarship, leadership, service, and character. Each of these students is committed to making their future greater by living through these 4 pillars. Within our small community, we are given multitudes of opportunities to shine, and this organization helps increase the number of opportunities. Often we are asked to help because we are part of National Honor Society. But there are many students outside of this organization who have joined in on these opportunities. These students, along with others, have done an outstanding job of representing St. James Public Schools and the community as they are expected to through the standards of National Honor Society. Through these opportunities, we are given chances to learn and grow. We learn about our fellow members and about the people we work with. To those of you graduating, I hope you utilize what you've learned from your experiences with National Honor Society and bring it with you wherever you go. And to the new members, be open to new experiences and learn everything you can because high school flies by. If each and every one of you continues to live through the 4 pillars, there's no doubt that you will accomplish great things. We're now going to do the candle lighting. Membership of the St. James chapter of the National Honor Society has been earned by the effective demonstration of the four qualities held in high esteem by the Society. 4 of our members will review these qualities for the candidates: service, leadership, character, and scholarship.
My office is service. Service can be described in various ways. In the routine of the day's work, many opportunities arise to help others. Willingness to work for the benefit of those in need without monetary compensation or without recognition is the quality we seek in our membership. We are committed to the idea of volunteering our time and abilities to the creation for a better tomorrow.
Leadership. Leadership should exert a wholesome influence on the school. In taking the initiative in class and school activities, the real leader strives to train and aid others to attain the same objective. The price of leadership is sacrifice, the willingness to yield one's personal interests for the interests of others. A leader has self-confidence and will go forward when others hesitate. No matter what power and resources may exist in a country, they are ineffectual without the guidance of a wise leader. Leadership is always needed, thus, to lead is a substantive charge to each of our members and to the candidates.
Character. Character is a force within each individual which distinguishes that person from others. It makes each one unique. It is that without no one can respect oneself, nor hope to attain the respect of others. It is this force of character which guides on through life and, when once developed, grows steadily. Character is achieved and not received. It is a product of constant action and daily striving to make the right choice. The problem of character is the problem of self-control. We must be in reality what we wish to appear to by others by demonstrating such qualities of reliability, honesty, and sincerity. We may hope to prove by example that we value character.
Scholarship means everything to learning. A student is willing to spend hours in reading and study, knowing the lasting benefits of a cultivated mind. We should continue to learn even when formal education has ended, for education ends only with life. Knowledge is one great element in life, which leads to the highest success, and it can be acquired in only one way, through diligence and effort. Learning furnishes the lamp by which we read the past, and the light which illuminates the future. Candidates have the charge to continually expand their world through the opportunities inherent in scholarship.
Inductees, please stand with your right hand on your heart and repeat after me. I pledge myself to uphold the high purpose of the National Honor Society, to which I have been selected. I will be true to the principles for which it stands. I will be loyal to my school and will maintain and encourage high standards of scholarship, service, leadership, and character.
I love positivity. I really enjoy being around positive people. That's one of the reasons I really enjoy when Emma Anderson walks into my classroom. She's full of positive energy. This is a true story. Emma walked into my classroom last Thursday morning, just 3 days ago, and said, Mr. Damaris, do you have your 15-minute presentation ready for Sunday afternoon? I was taken a little aback, and I said, Emma, I was told 2 to 3 minutes. She said, Mr. Damaris, you can't possibly tell all those people how awesome I am in only 2 or 3 minutes. Now, be that as it may, Emma, I still appreciate the positivity you bring. The powers that be have spoken, and I will try to keep this to the 2 or 3 minutes. I remember the answer my 7th grade social studies teacher gave when somebody asked him one time, who's your favorite student? And I think most educators can relate to the answer he gave. He said it's the person that uses their time well, that works hard and truly tries to be the best they can be. Emma is such a student. She's on the A honor roll, and she's currently taking some challenging classes, some college level classes, to try to be the best she can be. She always challenges herself to be her best. She's active in band and choir. She plays on one of the best tennis teams in all of southern Minnesota, and she volunteers at the local Humane Society. She leads in the classroom by using her time wisely and staying on task. She brings joy to my classroom by providing a joke of the day that she writes on the board most days. Now, sometimes that joy is in the form of a good solid laugh, and sometimes it's more of a groan. Nevertheless, it is appreciated. Emma, the rest of you probably as well, thank your parents when you get home today, if you haven't already, for instilling in you the qualities that make you a great candidate for NHS. These same qualities will get you through our distance learning time. They'll get you through our last couple of years of high school, through college, and well into the workforce. Now, if you're going to want that last 13 minutes about Emma's awesomeness, you need to touch base with her after the program today. One last thing about Emma. When I saw the video of Emma playing the recorder with her nose, I knew this was a very special person who belonged in a very special group. I don't know where that group is, but the NHS is a pretty special group too. And it's my honor to present Emma Anderson for membership in the National Honor Society. Congratulations, Emma.
It's my honor and privilege to introduce Mackenzie Christensen to the St. James High School National Honor Society. I'm continuing to get to know Mackenzie in the classroom, in my advisory, and as her coach. What I see every day is how deserving she is of this honor. And with Mackenzie's academics, she has a 4.0 grade point average while taking the most rigorous course schedule, including multiple college level classes. Mackenzie participates in multiple extracurricular activities while keeping her grades at this high level. Mackenzie's leadership skills are being shown more and more every day as she becomes more comfortable at St. James High School. I was able to witness during the volleyball season that Mackenzie leads by example. She worked hard every day to improve from the day before. During games, she always had a positive attitude and found ways to keep her teammates with that same attitude. Yes, Mackenzie is a good student. She participates in activities outside of the classroom and shows leadership skills. However, I believe her number one attribute is her character. I have to use a quote from Albert Einstein, being the science teacher that I am. But with that aside, this quote is so true. Most people say that it is the intellect which makes a great scientist. They are wrong. It is character. Before writing this, I asked some of Mackenzie's teachers what they would say if they had to describe Mackenzie. Every one of them, their face lit up and said, "What a great kid." Mackenzie will be a great addition to the National Honor Society, and it has been a great honor to introduce her on this special day.
comment here, and that is current members and the new members here that what you do is very, very important because you're a microcosm of the school and microcosm of our community because whatever we're perceived as, to a large extent, are you guys. And specifically now with the COVID piece, it has been a really challenge. I don't get an opportunity to see a lot of kids anymore in the classroom. I still have a class now and then, but at home very often. I've never had Jalen in the classroom, but I do know a lot of things about the classes that she's taken and also her grades. One thing I do know, she's an outstanding student. She's also very, very active. She is active in sports every season. She's involved in choir. I do know she's multiple all of the sports that she's participated in so far. I know also talking to the people that are around Jalen who say the same things about Jalen. She's relatively quiet, but she shows a tremendous amount of generosity to other people that are around her, helpfulness, kindness. But the biggest thing, the biggest characteristic I will say about Jalen is a reference to kind of a motto that we use in our tennis world, and that is NGU. NGU means never give up. And whenever you see her in an environment, I've seen her in the basketball environment, to a certain extent a little bit in the softball, I've seen her a lot in the tennis environment, and whatever you see of her, she's going to go hard at whatever she does all the time. Whatever she has is going to be her best. And when you have students that are doing that both in their life, around others, and are in their activities, you have an outstanding individual. I think when you talk about Jalen, she's motivated to excel. Her legacy that she will do, whatever environment that she's at, is that motivation to excel. It is my honor and it is my pleasure to serve as your sponsor, Jalen.
Hello, it is my privilege today to introduce Hayden. Hayden is someone who is an extremely hard worker and has excelled in the classroom and all the extracurricular activities he's been involved in. I've gotten to know Hayden through coaching in the past few years of basketball, and my first experience with him is a meeting I had his freshman year in my office, and I asked him what his goals were for basketball. And he told me then that he wanted to be a main contributor on the varsity basketball team that season. And if you remember Hayden as a freshman, he didn't look quite the same as he does now. He maybe didn't look like a varsity player. But he totally proved me with hard work, and when he puts his mind to something, I should never doubt it because he turned into a main contributor that year. And from that, he's now become a real leader in our program, someone that people look up to, someone that's willing to help out whenever we need him. And he set himself apart as one of the best players in the conference, being an all-conference basketball player last year. But perhaps my favorite story of Hayden, and is one I've maybe only shared with a handful of people, I think is a sign of character that he's showing true leadership is last season when we played down in Blue Earth, we had a very tough basketball game, and it was a tough loss and everybody was kind of worn out. And after the game, we were in the locker room. I made sure to remind the players that, hey, before we leave, we want the locker room, the bench to be cleaner than when we came. We always want St. James to look good, represent ourselves well. Well, our bench was really messy that night, so it really was important to clean it up because we had to see, being varsity, the C squad tends to get a little messy sometimes. Well, anyways, part of the reason this is kind of cool too is the bench of Blue Earth is on the other side of the school from the locker room. The bus place is up right by the locker room. I went out after we were done and checked the bench. Everything was clean, looked good. And the next day, being from Blue Earth, someone from the school district called me. And they said, hey, did you know what Hayden did last night? I said, no, I don't know. I just saw him get on the bus and go. They said, he went out to that bench And he cleaned the whole thing himself, picked up all the bottles, straightened all the chairs, did everything himself. Not one other person was out there and helped him. And to me, that is a great sign of leadership. That's a sign of integrity. He didn't know that someone was going to tell me about that sign of character. And it makes him someone I'm proud to work with and coach and introduce today. So without further ado, Hayden Jones.
Good afternoon. I'm the opposite of Mr. Damaris. I was told I got 23 minutes, but they said I only have 2 to 3, so I cut it down. This is a great day, and I'm glad the students have the opportunity to experience the induction. This is my second favorite day, second only to the scholarships. Before I take time to talk about Chloe, I just wanted to congratulate all the new inductees. And I am so happy for the girls basketball team. Look, we have 4 inductees that are on the girls basketball team that joined the 2 that are already in the NHS. So I think that serves us well on the basketball court as well as in the classroom. I am very happy to sponsor Chloe for NHS. My first introduction to Chloe is when I would go talk to Brooklyn. There was a shadow following her. I know this is hard to believe, but Chloe hardly said a word to me. She was very shy and kind of stayed behind Brooklyn. That I got to see her bond with her sister, and I know her family is very important to her. Fast forward 3 years to when I got named the head girls basketball coach. That was my first introduction to Chloe again. Chloe would stay after practice shooting and then help me picked up the basketballs afterwards. In the next few weeks, Chloe was very instrumental in helping me kind of get the girls basketball on track. I would say that Chloe is very determined, and I would say that of the 4 pillars, Chloe's character strikes me as their strongest advocate. When a player isn't part of a winning team, it's so much easier to work hard and have a good attitude. In Chloe's history, in her 4 years on the girls basketball team, that has not been her luxury. The lack of success, I believe, has not stopped her from working hard to become a good basketball player. My observation with Chloe is that she worked harder, and sometimes she shoots the basketball so much her shoulder and arm hurt. Along with her hard work, Chloe's worked on her attitude to help the team be more successful. I think that is a place that she has grown immensely in the last 3 years. Her determination shows up in practice, the locker room, and the games. Last year when we lost an emotional game versus New Ulm, Chloe was very emotional in the locker room because we lost and she wanted to win so much for the team. We won our first conference game in 4 years against Fairmont. Chloe was one of the happiest, even though she did not have a big game. At the end of last year, I met with Chloe and talked about how she could best help the team in her senior year. We determined that she should become a better ball handler. To all 3 coaches' amazement, this summer she has done that, and I believe if we get to play this winter, Chloe will actually be playing some point guard. I would have never thought that would have happened. Watching Chloe in other sports, volleyball and softball, she has those same characteristics that she demonstrates in basketball. Chloe has demonstrated all the other pillars of NHS. Leadership, she's co-captain. In school, she takes all the tough classes while being in the top 10 of her class. And her service, I know she has done with First Lutheran Church's Step It Up group. She went to a youth gathering in Houston, and hearing her talk about the experience, it was a very powerful and positive for her, especially when they went out and volunteered for their time for the Houston community. But I talked to Mr. Zellman and Mr. Berman, and I think we should have a 5th pillar, and that is a sense of humor. Chloe excels in this. I have 2 stories. One story, though, you have to talk to her. She does a great impression. If I ever get mad at the referee, she does a really good job in imitating me, so you have to ask her that later. But the other story was when Coach Stark, myself, and Chloe are talking after practice. We talked about a lot of things, but eventually it turned to golf. Chloe looked at Coach Stark and with serious said, "I'm related to Bill Mickelson." Chloe went on for a while and talked about her swing and how how Phil helps her with her swing. And Coach Stark, I think, believed her until I started laughing. So that is another good reason to be Chloe. It is my pleasure to welcome Bill Mickelson's distant relative, Chloe Mickelson, to NHS.
Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to congratulate everyone that's here today. When looking at Sailor's application for NHS, which has been in my drawer now for a few months, when it got pushed aside, I noted that the applications were due in early March, and a little bit as to what Mr. Damaris and Mr. Zellman referred to. The world has definitely changed around us in that time, and we need all of you, both inductees and current members, to lead the way in our school community as our educational model changes, and then as you move forward into society after high school. It won't be easy, but looking at the group, and for most of you, I can see all of your faces right now, but I can see everybody's eyes for sure. I believe that you're up to that challenge. I'm honored to introduce Sailor Molenbroek as a candidate for National Honor Society. Sailor's high achievement in the classroom, participation in 3 sports, tennis, basketball, and track, and her leadership demonstrated through her involvement in student council and our school make her an excellent fit for the National Honor Society. It has been a few years since I have had Sailor as a student as I teach in the middle school, but I clearly remember her competitive nature coming out when we played academic games, or when she was trying to put together the best countries in the world for her fan school team. Like many people, Sailor wants to do her best in everything that she attempts, but what sets her apart from a lot of others is that she is willing to do the heavy lifting day in and day out to get there. I've seen her daily effort on the tennis courts in practice not only make her one of our best players, but helps improve her teammates and her team culture around her. As mentioned with Mr. Woodcraft, if there was a bonus fifth pillar of sense of humor, Sailor brings a positive attitude and a sense of humor to everything that she does. After Sailor reminded me several times about the day, time, and location of this event, maybe not trusting that I would remember to count or something, she did request that I include a dad joke in my words today. We sometimes either before practice or something like that, we'll share a joke for the day. So I don't know if I've used this one before with you, Sailor. My doctor told me I'm going deaf. The news was hard for me to hear. Sailor Molenbroek, congratulations, a well-deserving candidate for NHS.
It is my honor to speak on behalf of Tori Molenko for her induction into the National Honor Society. I would like to touch on each of the 4 traits that, being a member of National Honor Society, that Tori exemplifies. In the area of service, Tori does not shy away from the opportunities to get herself involved in a variety of activities. Tori volunteers in the community with her willingness to be a volunteer at church. She also volunteers her time helping senior citizens with maintaining a clean household, as well as with mowing lawns. In athletics, Tori volunteers to help with Saturday basketball events, as well as with helping younger players learn the fundamentals of softball. She also has volunteered on several occasions to help the school softball program raise funds by working in the concession stand at school events. The thing I appreciate most about Tori is her willingness to give back to the areas that have influenced her most in her life. In the area of leadership, I have watched Tori over the last several years work on her leadership skills in many ways. I don't think this has always been an easy journey for Tori. She began to play as a regular on the varsity softball team in her freshman year and has earned multiple all-conference selections in both of the years that she has played. It was because of this progression on leadership abilities that I asked Tori in her junior year to be one of the softball captains. We have had many conversations during practices as she, as a catcher, is in my direct vicinity for much of the practice times when we are working together as a team. I've frequently mentioned, and subtly in all honesty to Tori, the things that the team would like to see from her as a catcher. I've watched her process those pieces of advice and then display those characteristics on the field of play. A true leader has to find a way to encourage and motivate others, as well as finding a positive way to give constructive criticism. In my experience of over 20 years of coaching softball, I have truly only seen a few select individuals that will be honest to others about things that can easily and unfairly be misinterpreted. I know that Tori has felt this pressure at times, but she continues to hold up to her standards of belief that identify her true character. She has been a very big reason for the successes that we have experienced in the last few years. In the area of scholarship, Tori is a high achiever in academics and her studies. I know she is devoted to excelling in her education and has hopes of continuing her education and athletics beyond high school. It is not always easy for a student to balance academics, athletics, and maintaining a job and achieve high success in all these areas. Tori is a dedicated student that has earned the respect of other teachers that have had her in her classroom. She consistently displays a strong work ethic across the board in each of her academics. And lastly, in the area of character. I think of all the traits of being a member of the National Honor Society, my personal favorite would be character. Character is a trait that is at the core of the other three traits. It is the genesis of service, leadership, and scholarship. Our character defines much of who we are, how we think, why we act, and what we say or do. Our character is shown by what we do when we think nobody else is around. Tori has been exposed to many instances that have helped define who she really is. And at her core, she is dedicated to whatever she is doing. She has passion to give her best effort. She shows resilience in the face of adversity. And she does the little things that most no one notices that are vital to long-term success, and she just wants to do her part. Tori has proven to me that she meets and exceeds expectations in displaying each of these traits and has earned her spot in the National Honor Society.
It is my honor to introduce Tanner Olson as an inductee for the National Honor Society. I've gotten to know Tanner the past 3 years as his FFA advisor. The past 2 years, he has served as an FFA officer, as historian, and this year as vice president. He is constantly showing great leadership by encouraging young members to get involved and cheering them on when they do. He is always a positive person around and has a great sense of humor, and we love to get to work with him. But Tanner doesn't just thrive in FFA. He is also a great leader in football, basketball, baseball, and trap shoot. He goes above and beyond in each activity to better himself and to better his team. Through all of these events, though, he also keeps his academics as a priority, maintaining high grades and always doing his best. I've greatly enjoyed getting to know Tanner, and he will be a great addition to the National Honor Society.
Then I got to thinking, it's been a long time since I've been around anything with National Honor Society. What am I going to say? What am I going to say? Well, it's pretty easy to talk about Jacob, just like it's pretty easy to talk to Jacob. He's a great leader. He basically fits the 4 pillars of the National Honor Society perfectly. He's our FFA president. He's a great motivator. The 6th graders look up to him. The seniors look up to him. And if you ever need anything done, Jacob's your guy. Okay? He takes control of those things. Those committees that nobody ever wants to serve on, Jacob will serve on. Not only will he serve on it, but you know it's going to be done right. Okay? If he's going to put the effort into it, it's going to be done right. It's not going to be done halfway and kind of mediocre. He's going to do the best he can on everything, and he's going to get people to kind of join him. He's got that personality that makes people want to just kind of join in and do those same things with him. So super easy to talk to. Great character. You can tell he's been brought up right, because every time you talk to Jacob, he's always positive. Okay? Things could be going terrible, and he's always got a positive spin on it. And when you walk away from that conversation, you're always like, yeah, you know what? It isn't that bad. Okay? It's just it's kind of hard to describe, but it's just a great motivational piece when you talk to Jacob. You can't help but be happy. Does very well in the classroom. Again, you never see Jacob alone. It's like when Jacob starts something, people just want to join him and join him. I think that's a great symbol of a leader. And it's not just people in his clique when you get into high school, it's everybody. He can go to any group in the high school and he can get along with everybody, and he can motivate everybody. So it is my honor to present him with National Honor Society. I think he fits the mold absolutely perfect.
Good afternoon. Before I get to my candidate, just a few congratulations. First of all, to all of you, congratulations. Second of all, my biggest respect for all of you is the ability to show up. And I challenge you in this time to continue to show up. It's probably one of the biggest things with young people is your ability to do that. So, I have the honor of introducing Ms. Destiny Sawatsky to this year's group of inductees into the St. James chapter of the National Honor Society. As you can see, Destiny is unable to be with us today due to a family health situation. Destiny's been involved with many different sports teams here in St. James. She is involved in volleyball, student council, team up, limited edition, along with many other things. On top of that, Destiny works at the Dairy Queen. Spent a good part of last spring after school driving to Springfield to get her CNA license. And she also works at the Good Samaritan Nursing Home here in St. James. Academically, Destiny is second to none with her attention to detail, inquisitive questions, and detailed research skills. She's not afraid to seek help if needed, and is very thorough in every part of her learning, both in school and in her out-of-school nursing training. On top of all those things that are all personal drive attributes, the thing I admire most about Destiny is her focus. Her focus in class is clear. Her smile and eye contact in class shows her engagement. Her ability to help others in class with class material is a common trait. The other common focus that Destiny has is within her family. Her brother Dana, an 8th grader, is one that she has always had for years. Several other younger siblings could not have a better role model than Destiny. It is an honor to be part of this day, and even better to be able to be here to introduce Destiny Sawatsky into this year's group of inductees into the St. James National Honor Society. Congratulations.
Could just squat, I guess, right? It might work. All right. So I'm Mr. Berman. I'm the new dean of students, and it's my understanding that last year our inductees did not get an opportunity to get a pin. So I'm going to name off everybody, and they're going to come on up and grab their pins for your induction for National Honor Society. So, kind of cool thing with the dean here is I don't typically get to work with the kids who are over here. These are the kids I get to see in the hallway and try to get to know a little bit. Usually I'm working with kids who have other issues going on. So it's really awesome opportunity for myself to see these kids and really be a part of how they're going to serve the community of St. James, as we're working on making everything better every single day. So without further ado, we'll get Ellie Becker up here with grabbing your pin, please. Madison Bride. Bry. Tyler Chapin. Ryan Hansen. Marco Hernandez. Caleb Rivera. And last but not least, Samantha Tetzlaff.
First of all, to finish up this afternoon, as principal of St. James Middle Senior High School, this is always a great day for us because we get to honor those who have exhibited the four pillars of the National Honor Society. I've heard it all the time, and we count on your leadership. I don't know how much you really realize how the younger kids look to you for what you're doing. And what you do is what they will do. That's kind of a burden. It's a burden as you develop leadership, but I want you to take it very seriously because I know the younger kids watch you, and I trust that your leadership is going to lead them down a great path as well. A couple thank yous. There is a group of professional educators sitting here who took their time to write an essay and answer questions about you when you applied for National Honor Society, and they took time, some of them from farming, some from young families, some from lesson planning, whatever they were going to do on Sunday afternoon, watch the Vikings, but they came to be here for you. That is how much they believe in you. Would you please thank them for that? Mr. Zellman wanted me to announce that usually in typical southern Minnesota fashion, we always have refreshments at everything. Well, today we're not having coffee and cookies. Those kinds of things aren't happening right now. It is my sincere hope that we can get back to coffee and cookies, that we can get back to having these kids not just in a hybrid model a couple days a week, but with whatever we're doing, what you're doing, what these kids are doing, what I'm modeling, what these teachers are modeling with our behaviors and where we are, that we can get back to school. Somebody asked me recently, well, I suppose your job is going to get easier with no kids in the building, and I looked at them and said, my heart is broken. My heart is broken. These people want kids in front of you, in front of them. I want them in my lives. There's nothing easy about tomorrow. And there's nothing easy about distance learning. It's tough stuff. And I want you to know that my heart is with you in how we do that. So on behalf of the St. James School Board and Administration, Dr. Heil's here with us. I hope you have a chance to meet him. He's in the crow's nest up here. I want to thank you for being the parents who hauled the instrument to town, who got kids to early morning practices, who made sure they were doing their homework, who were the shoulder to cry on when something wasn't going well. You're the parents and grandparents who have heard the venting about a teacher or a coach these kids were mad at, or maybe it's a principal, and yes, they're going to be mad at you too sometime. You'll have to get used to that. And but you've listened and you've been there. And parents, thank you so much. Last thing, there was some really cool news in our town and our community this last week when Northside Elementary was named a National Blue Ribbon School. This is a huge deal. There are only a few hundred schools out of the tens of thousands of schools in the United States every year that are named a National Blue Ribbon School. The reason I bring this up here is because these kids, with the exception of a couple who weren't at Northside, this was the beginning of the SIG journey. These are the kids who sat in the desks at Northside Elementary when the teachers tore their standards apart and put them back together. These are the kids who celebrated going from a priority school to a focus school to a school of continuous improvement. These are the kids who got the news you're a turnaround art school. 83 schools in the entire nation are turnaround art schools, and they were part of that. This is the beginning, and I think they have followed through on their individual parts. So that's